good to be back in the studio with you today, Jason.
You too.
We've got a great show in store today because we've invited a special guest to talk with us. We've known Lesley since she started coming into our Meta Lighthouse metaphysical store in Sturbridge about 5 years ago. And we hit it off right away and had great
I
conversation.
can't believe it's been that long.
I know.
I
was looking back 5 years ago. But we always had good conversations, didn't we? It didn't take too long to realize that Lesley is an empath and she's got psychic gifts. And so we invited her to check out our empath support group. And you've been coming for several years now. Like,
oh yeah,
you're there every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I missed a couple because of like work, or maybe I wasn't feeling well. When I go on vacation, maybe I've missed one. But yeah, I come very often. I love the group. I love the people in it too. Everybody's so great.
Well, you're one of the most capable women I've ever met. And I see
Oh,
how
thank
hard you work.
Yeah.
I see how hard you work, Lesley, to support a big family.
I try.
And even when times get difficult, you maintain a positive attitude.
Yeah.
And put yourself in situations to help other people in need.
I try.
You know, even if you're going through something, you're always there to help someone.
Yeah.
No matter where you go.
Yeah, I try. It's hard not to sometimes. Sometimes my boyfriend has to be like, not right now.
Yeah.
Like, fine, okay, we're in traffic.
Oh my gosh.
Before I met you guys, I didn't even really view my abilities as abilities. It was just something that happened, and I didn't really think too much about it. And then when I started hanging out with you guys and talking to you guys and everybody in the group and everything, and I'm like, wait, is that what it is? And I was like, oh, and I was able to kind of do some research on it, and you guys helped me a lot when it came to like blocking out other people's energy, because that was really draining to me for a really long time. And because of you guys, I can now just be like, nope, not doing it.
Love that.
So was it just then that you realized you were an empath? Like you hadn't heard that term before, or that label?
I hadn't heard empath before. No, the word empath I hadn't. I knew of the word like psychic. I knew about tarot cards and stuff like that. Even when I was younger, my grandmother never told me this. My mother did. That my grandmother could go into houses and sense spirits. We lived in a house when we lived in Holliston. And it was like really, really old and super, super like haunted with like a bad spirit. And my grandmother, she was Protestant, and she like worked in the church. So she came into our house because my mom's like, you need to help me get rid of this. We weren't home. We were in school. My mother told us this afterwards. My grandmother was blessing the house, and they were upstairs and they were blessing my room. And my little dog was in there. And as soon as they came in there and started blessing the room, the dog ran out. And then my grandmother finished blessing the room. And they were going down the stairs. And the dog ran past my grandmother. And then something tripped my grandmother down the stairs after the dog got to the bottom.
Really?
It was bad. And then I think shortly after that is when I had woken up from a dead sleep. I was young. I want to say I was like 9 or 10. I woke up, and on the other side of the room, there was like this white figure. And I was little, so I was just like head under the covers, and I was like, it's just a tooth fairy. It's just a tooth fairy. And I think I fell asleep. I was terrified. But yeah, a lot of crazy things happen in that house. But that is in my family a bit with abilities. It's just everybody's super duper religious, where they're like, you can't do that.
Right. So they're in denial, maybe, or they make excuses about it, or
and like even my older sister, she has precognitive dreams, when she has dreams and then it happens.
Yes.
She has that happen all the time. She doesn't really talk about it though.
Oh, okay. So she has it, but doesn't really see it as a psychic ability.
She sees it as an ability. She just like thinks people are going to think she's crazy, so she doesn't talk about it too much.
Yeah.
I love how you're revealing that, you know, especially about your grandmother and your sister, because it shows the evidence that the psychic part of people is usually within family. It's usually genetic coding to some degree. So I love that you shared that. And I also love that you share they were, you know, into the church. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people have these gifts and abilities and they find comfort from structure in the church and they don't want to really look at it because just like your experience with your grandmother, she got tripped going down the stairs. And those are real experiences, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff. I don't remember everything that was told, but she had a lot of experiences where like she'd go up to a doorway of a house, say somebody invited her over for like a book club meeting or something like that. She'd just go up to the door and she's like, I am not going in there, and go home.
Wow. So she could sense it before she even went into the house.
Yeah,
She
but not
sensed
like in a
negative
rude way.
energy.
She's not,
Yeah.
yeah, she wouldn't tell them. She'd just like make up an excuse because she's a very old school, polite woman.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. Yeah, I can see doing the same thing. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that about you, Lesley.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's because it's like more of like I kind of had to talk to my mother to get permission to say this stuff because it's like my grandmother's very religious and she's very like she would probably get mad if she knew about it, that me telling people, but
Yeah.
she's my mom, she gave me the go ahead.
That's awesome. I
it
understand
is
that.
awesome,
I
and I'm
understand that.
glad she did. You understand it for sure
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I mean,
Some
you
of the
grew up in a
family,
psychic family.
and some of them just did not express it outside of the, you know what I mean? Just like
Keep
Lesley
it
said, it's
private.
like, no,
Yeah.
no, don't bring it
Yeah.
ridicule
I
to
can
us.
understand exactly because you don't want to be ridiculed, and you know, they're back in the old days there were witch hunts, right? So we want to
Yeah,
avoid
yeah,
those
and it
types
was
of
just like
things.
Right.
old Italian family too. Like
Wow.
my grandfather was Catholic, my grandmother
Mm,
was Protestant. She had to convert to be able to marry him. And it was
mm.
just like everybody was super Italian religious.
So, how old were you when that happened in the house where your grandmother
The
came in?
ghost
And
thing when we
yeah,
met, I'd say between 9 and 10.
I remember that it was kind of an active age for me too, with psychic experiences.
Yeah.
Um, so, what were some of the signs growing up that that you saw or experienced that you realized that you were seeing things that other people couldn't see?
At the time, I didn't realize it. I didn't know
Yeah.
what it was. So I'd be in school and I'd be sitting at the desk, and you know how you're like paying attention, but you're not paying attention?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be looking at the teacher, and there was like the blackboard, old school, I know. And she would have like the silhouette going around her, and it was like
Mm.
white, like
Uh-huh.
light, but it would be like thick. Like when I try and do it now, it's just like a really thin layer around somebody. And I can still only see white. I've seen green a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but when I was younger and I'd look, it was like off the body like this much. It was big.
Wow.
And I faintly remembering it being like so much where it was like blurring the actual teacher's body.
Wow, that's
Wow.
cool. So you were seeing their aura,
Mm.
and it was
Yeah, I
usually,
didn't know.
yeah, it was just how you saw people, right? So
Yeah.
you didn't know any different than seeing an aura
Yeah,
around
and I
people.
didn't even, it was weird. I didn't even think to like bring it up to anybody. I don't know why I didn't be like, hey mom, this really weird thing's happening to me.
Because it was normal to you. So basically, as far back as you can remember, you've had
This gift.
the gift
Oh
of
yeah.
sight.
Yeah, the aura thing, since I was little when that started happening, all the way through high school, I could do it.
Wow. Wow.
And then after that, it stopped for a while. And then when I met you guys, I was like, wait a minute. I think I
Mm.
remember oddly having a conversation in the store, and I was like, yeah, I think I can because I can see the white around people. And you're like, yeah, that's an aura. And I'm like, get out of town. So then you're like, if you want to practice, do the magic eye books. And it was so weird because my grandmother had just gone to a nursing home and she had the old magic eye books from like the 90s. And I
Wow.
took them because I was like, oh my God, I remember these. I couldn't do the magic eye books when I was younger.
Mm.
Everybody else would see the pictures in the magic eye books, but I couldn't. But so then I was like, figured out how to do it. And then I was like, okay. And then I focused on being able to see or is a little bit more, and I still had to really focus to be able to do it.
Mm.
But now I can kind of see it. I've seen green, I've seen pink.
It's funny how when we're younger, it just comes naturally and it's part of our life. But then we become more social and integrated into the mainstream world. They kind of fade to the background until you have,
Yeah.
maybe you're at the time you were coming into the store. Do you feel like that was a spiritual awakening for you, an experience that
Oh,
you were having? Yeah.
definitely. Definitely. You guys made me not question, because I was already questioning things, because I was raised Catholic. Then when I got with my ex-husband and we were in a relationship, he was born again Christian, so started going to church with him and stuff. But he had trouble with drinking and everything, and he was kind of like throwing the Bible at me, saying you shouldn't do this because it's in the Bible, when he was having his own issues. And that kind of turned me away from it, and just like how it was like deep south. They were very nice people, but they also just gave off this like standoffish vibe, where it's like, we don't want you to get too close. And like, I don't know how to word it. It was like, not so much that they thought they were better, but maybe, but just like that I should be doing better. Like you have to start doing this, and you have to do that, and you have to get married, because I wasn't married at the time. But then like after I had left that situation, because it was a really, really bad situation, I started questioning things, and I was more on the thought of, why would I want to have a relationship with God after everything I just went through? And it was horrible, because it was the worst situation ever.
Yeah.
So I was questioning that, and I was like, well, how could somebody do that, not just to me, but to my kids? Because my kids went through a lot, and they were completely innocent. But then I met you guys, and you guys started talking about like your spirituality and your connection with God and the goddess, and reincarnation even. I was like, because I would think about reincarnation here and there, and I'm like, well, it kind of makes sense, but I really didn't know too much about it. And then when I started talking to you guys, and you guys were talking about reincarnation and having like a soul purpose and earth school, I was like, that kind of makes sense. So then again, I did my own research. I'm still doing research to this day on religions, and not just what I believe now, but I look into Hinduism, Judaism, Christianity. I found out like a couple months ago about the Geneva Bible, which was published before the King James Bible, the Ethiopian Bible. And it's just like, my thing was with religion was, or even with the Bible was, this book is so old, and it's been cast into so many hands. Everybody's changed everything in this Bible. How do we know what's true? And I just came to the realization that you're not like your, what's the word? Your, not your internal monologue, but just what's inside of you that tells you what's right and wrong. I feel like God put it inside of us from birth, how to treat people, what we should and shouldn't do. Like when it comes to like laws or treating people, it's in us already. You don't need a Bible. Do you want to read a Bible to kind of brush up on it? Sure, go right ahead. But some of the stuff in there isn't very accurate, because people got a hold of it and put their own ideology into it.
Well, you bring up such a good point, and it shows that, like you said, we're born with God and the goddess within us. So we come out the womb, with love. And we see that through various situations, people become astray. They forget about, and it doesn't matter what religion, what race, what economic background. A lot of us go astray, and we forget about love and why we're really here, and empathy. It's very interesting.
Right, you're not born with racism inside of you.
Right.
You're not born hating different religions or different people with political views or just anything, or hating somebody because they talk too much. Even that, like, you're not born with that. You're told. You shouldn't really associate with people who talk too much, because they're going to talk about you.
Well,
type of thing.
It's true. And you bring up another point of how we go astray. Well, you said when you were young, your gifts with the aura were very bright and you could see the teacher in school. But then as you started going through grade school and further up, you noticed the gift was suppressing itself. And that's a lot because they don't teach us in school about our gifts and they don't foster our intuition or our psychic abilities. So after a while, it dulls us down in our senses, but we always come back to ourself.
I think it's great that you're studying the different religions. And I'd like to ask you, do you find that there's a common theme
I was
in
just
all of
thinking
them?
that. Yes. Yes. The events, the people,
Mm-hmm.
like the flood,
The stories.
Noah's flood, that happens in different religions. Like the
Mhm.
Mayans had a great flood.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you look up certain gods, like Zeus. Okay, so our Christianity has God, Greeks have Zeus, Romans have, I forget what Romans have, and then the Egyptians, they have the Ra, I think.
Yes.
They all have that one God, but then they also have different gods. Like each god's name is a different person, say in the Bible or in Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology. You'll have the same people with the same gifts, personality, just with a different name.
Yeah, it's wild. And if you think about it in terms of reincarnation, those names were for a specific lifetime or incarnation, right?
Mhm.
And in different cultures, it's all the same story, just painted with different colors.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool, and I think that that's a great way to learn about yourself too. To study the religions and kind of pick out what you see as truth and what resonates with you on a soul level.
Yeah. All these gods are the same gods, just in different time signatures of human development and different cultures that embraced them and supported them. And we noticed through time and history, they changed it to one God and they
Right.
put the Son and the Holy Spirit, and the goddesses were removed. The other beings that were helpful to humanity with their gifts, it wasn't just one person had all the abilities. They were all gifted in various ways. So it shows the transformation of consciousness and control measures, and now we're getting back into the truth.
On that, one of my theories that I dove into, because I have a lot of different thoughts on how things were, religion was divvied up. Like,
Mm,
and one of them is like the Tower of Babel in the
mm,
Bible. At that time, everybody spoke the same language,
mm,
right? And they were building the Tower of Babel. And God was like, oh, no, no, we're not doing that. So he separated everybody and said, you guys are going over here, you guys are going over there, and you guys are going over there, and you're not going to speak the same language because you guys are like doing something productive here because you're able to communicate. So he separated everybody, gave everybody different languages, but before they did that, they all believed the same thing. So I think when they were separated, they kind of took the beliefs with them,
mm,
and that's how it started to change because they couldn't communicate with each other anymore. So things over time changed in that way.
mm.
That's a
Yeah,
great take on the story.
for
Yeah,
sure.
there's a lot of truth in what you're saying.
Yeah.
Not to switch the topic at all, but I'm curious. I know you've got a big family, and I know that you guys have gone through a lot of challenges too as a family, like you just expressed when you were living down south. How does being an empath and having psychic gifts impact you as a mom or as a parent? And are your kids, do you recognize the gift in your kids too?
I have such a funny story about that, and it kind of makes my kids mad. This actually recently happened. My daughter, Yakai, I'm actually doing this in her room right now, and her sister were out with their friends, right? And she's 18, my daughter's 16. They're good kids, whatever. So I
Mhm.
thought. So I was at work and I come home and it was late, it was like 10. And I come in and I was like, she didn't do her chore. And then my other daughter comes down and she goes, yeah, so she didn't do her chore because she was like really, really tired and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, that's not like her. She like always does her chore. And it's like, she's usually awake at this time. And I'm in the pantry and I don't know what made me think of this. But I turned around to my boyfriend. I was like, she was smoking weed. And my other daughter had at that point gone up into the hallway. And you could see her because you have cameras in the house. You see her freeze like this and just turn. And then she came downstairs and she's like, you cannot tell her because she's going to think that I told you. I was like, you didn't tell me. I was like, you can look in the camera in the kitchen and see that I had an aha moment for no reason at all. My daughter that had smoked weed was asleep in the room.
Yeah.
My other daughter heard me say it upstairs. And she was like, how the hell did she know that? And then the next morning, I opened my bathroom door and the daughter that smoked weeds is outside the door. And I'm like, so I heard you got a little toasty last night. And she's like, okay, Neva tells you, blah, blah. I was like, no, she didn't. I was like, I knew. You can watch on the camera. It just popped in my head. But yeah, things like that happen all the time.
So are your kids aware, I'm sure they must be, that you just have a sense of knowing about what they're up to? And does that change the dynamic?
Do more. They get mad at me.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't really like that.
They get mad. Yeah, I tell them, I'm like, look, I've done everything you've done, only a lot better. So I know what you're doing, but I also know when they're upset or when they're mad too, just like they'll give off vibes. Yeah. Where it's just like I can feel it on them when they walk by. You can just feel the oof. Ugh. But then even when we lived in North Carolina, their dad, he'd drink to the point where when I tell you he became a different person, he literally, his whole demeanor changed. Something took him over when he got to a certain point of drinking and you could just feel it. He was just like super heavy and just, it was just, it gave you a yucky feeling.
It almost sounds like you think that maybe he was possessed, like had an attachment, like a demonic attachment to him. Is that what you?
Yeah, unfortunately, still does too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the alcohol, they some places call it spirits, and they call it spirits for a reason. And I think it does open you up to different things.
I never used to believe so much in demons or attachments. And I really believe, though, that it is real. And a lot of people are walking around. And if we could see, or if they could see what's actually happening metaphysically, we would see a lot of people with attachments to them of these lower frequencies that make you just act like not really who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Latching on to that light that you talk about as a child that's everybody's born with. And you can see the differences of where people astray. And when you dig deeper, you realize the attachments of lower frequencies are assisting for them to go astray.
Yeah, and I think you can be able to get rid of those demons or get rid of those attachments just by being self-aware.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Self-aware, step 1 in our empath program.
I've been on step 1 forever because I'm I always feel like I'm not aware enough.
Well, it's true because when you're self-aware, you catch yourself before you fall into something negative, right? And you see more clearly when you have self-awareness. But it does take time and it takes practice to have it, on the regular, on the daily.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I had put reminders in my phone to be like, hey, mind your business.
I like that.
So, Lesley, like we had said earlier, you've been in our empath group for, I don't know, I'm going to say 3 or 4 years. And it's just been awesome to have you in the group. But I wanted to ask you, what is your biggest takeaway from the experience of being part of an empath program?
The biggest takeaway from the empath program to me would be that you can never be like too enlightened or knowledgeable. There's always something to learn. There's always something to improve. Not that anybody's like inherently bad, but there's always something that you can do to make yourself better, to make the world better, to help people. And just every time I go into a meeting, I learn something new.
I've seen you grow too. I've seen you grow and share your gifts with others in the group. You know, like you said, when you first, you know, met us, and I don't want to say that we're the reason why you had an awakening,
No.
but it just sort of happened simultaneously. And you were really exploring and wanting to know. And now, as we're talking to you today, I feel like you've gained a lot of wisdom. And it's probably because you've put the effort in. It doesn't just happen because you're awake.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm awake. This is it.
Well,
You have
that's
to do
it.
something.
And it's the fact that the group is so open and not judgmental. And I really feel like we can talk about whatever. And like, because I mean, I haven't been an angel my whole life. And sometimes I need to talk about the bad things I've done in my life in order to be more awakened, because you have to work through it. You can't sit there and keep everything bottled inside. And yeah, there's plenty of stuff that I haven't talked about yet, but I know that I can, I know that I will, and I know you guys are going to be receptive and not judgmental.
I love that.
I love
awesome.
it too. And the thing is, all of those experiences, those quote unquote mistakes, the good and bad and ugly, it shapes us.
Yeah.
You know, it helps build character, and it really builds our empathy.
Yeah.
And we become so much better at helping other people because of those experiences. You know, if life was just easy street all the time, I mean, what do you have to offer other people? It's through those struggles and difficulties that makes who you are so rich. And there's so much to teach others, or share with others, I should say, and help them along the way as well.
Oh yeah, like I try and tell people all the time. Like one of the situations about me, my kids got them taken away into foster care because of bad choices that I made with drinking and my ex and a whole bunch of domestic violence stuff. And I had to leave them in North Carolina to come up here to get my stuff together. And everybody was so pissed off at me, saying that I abandoned my kids. And I wasn't able to get them back for 2 years after I left. And I tell people, because I've had people come into my life that are like, yeah, my kids are in foster care. I'm never going to get them back. There's no hope. The system's rigged and da 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 da. And I'm like, no, you have to do it. I'm friends with the DSS worker that took my kids on Facebook.
Wow. That says a lot.
Incredible. It does. It's a huge testament to who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, she comments on my stuff all the time. Like, she's like, you've come so far. Because she knew me when I was in the trenches.
I love hearing this, because you hear so much in the conspiracy world, right? That the foster care is evil and it's rigged and all these things. I love these examples that show that there really are good people in these systems and jobs that really have your best interest. And sometimes, like you said, we have to lose to win.
Yeah. She was an angel. All she wanted was the best for me. All she wanted was me to have my kids. And I was just, at that time, before they were taken, I guess I wasn't in the spot or the mindset to do it. I still remember the day she took the kids. She was crying when I was crying about taking my kids. She was upset, just as upset. She didn't want to do it. And then shortly after that, she got out of it. She stopped being at work because it was too emotional for her.
Really? I can imagine. I wouldn't want to be in that position.
Yeah, but sweetest woman.
What's remarkable is that you got them back, and you've really made a life for yourself
really
here.
It was so funny. When I met Jay, I didn't have the kids, and he knew I had kids. I told him I was going to get them back, and he's like, yeah, that's what everybody says. And about a year later, I was like, we got to go to North Carolina and get my kids. And then it was just all of a sudden this poor man had to take on my 6 kids plus his, and he's the real angel in this situation.
I'm sure he is. But you're incredible.
You are very incredible.
Thank you.
I mean, what I've noticed is that your gift is really in manifesting. Some of us are better at manifesting and making things happen in the third dimension than others. And a lot of that is part of your drive. One of your gifts is an extreme drive that leads to manifesting situations in your life that are real third dimensional. And I've seen it firsthand. That's why I say it. And a lot of
We're
us,
looking
we
at it
don't
right
have
now.
that gift.
My house.
Wow. I mean,
Right. And
it's
getting your kids
amazing.
back, you manifested that.
Yep.
Like you were
Yeah.
so highly focused on it and determined and driven to
Yes.
do it so that it did happen. And that's the secret
Yeah.
ingredient.
Nobody thought I was going to. Not a
See?
soul thought I was going to.
I'm glad you
Amazing.
proved them
You
wrong.
did. You
I
Is
am
did.
that a
too.
good feeling?
I get apologies all the time from like people on his side of the family where
Yeah.
they were just treating me so badly and
Mm.
just talking so badly about me. A couple of them have actually come to me and apologized to me, and they were like, "We had no idea that you were gonna become what you are now."
Mm. Mm.
Lesley, with that being said, I would love to know what was the defining moment that made that happen after losing them and going through, that abuse and all that trauma that you experienced. What was it that pushed it forward so that you could get them back and you became a successful person?
Mm.
I was tired. I was so tired. Like, and it was weird the way it happened because I was tired of being a bum. And I had met Jay, and he was going through his own journey, which he felt like a bum and he felt like he was scum of the universe. And we kind of just met at that place where we both weren't really working. He lived with his mom, and then I lived with him with his mom. And he was, we were on welfare, food stamps, and we had nothing. And it was like, we didn't have a car. He didn't have his license because it was suspended. And we just like, we didn't even talk to each other about it. It wasn't a moment where we're like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and we're going to do better. We didn't even have that conversation. We just did it. He ended up getting a job. I ended up getting a job at the same time. And then it just progressed from there. We're like, hey, we got to save money. And then we started having money in a savings account. And then it was like, hey, we got to fix our credit. Let's take some of the money out of the savings account and put money on a car to make our credit better. And then it just like progressively got better and better and better just because we had some unspoken agreement where we were tired of being where we were. And we're like, we're going to just do better. And now we're here.
You have such a
Wow.
great story. It's incredible, Jason. I feel
Well,
like you want to say
I was
something.
just gonna. Earlier, we talked about reincarnation, and this is a really prime example that you and your partner know each other from a previous time, and it's interesting how you met, and you didn't even have to speak. It was like you found each other again to pull each other up to rebond, and you probably prior to that both had lessons in karma elsewhere, and it just sounds like this is an example of somebody that you have a soul tie to, because
Oh, yeah.
the not talking but yet elevating is another sign that says it's
Yeah.
spiritual.
And it's funny too, though, because I say this all the time, we have completely opposite personalities. He
Mm.
is so like rational and grounded and by the book.
Mm.
Like he's like, I need evidence. You want me to believe this? Show me. And I'm the complete opposite. I'm like, oh, there's an article about Three-Eye Atlas. I had to go dig in this rabbit hole and just find the connections myself. And if there's connections, I'm gonna believe it off of that. And I mean, this person's talking about it, and these people in the government are talking about it, so it's got to be true. And he's more like, no, he's like, I need to actually see the extraterrestrials or a spaceship or something like that. And I'm like, my guy, a spaceship could hit you in the head, and you probably still wouldn't believe it.
I really like that quality sometimes of a skeptic because
Yeah,
it
he
keeps
keeps me
things
grounded.
up and up and it keeps you
Yeah.
grounded. Yes, for sure.
And it's
And
good debates. We get in some really good debates.
which you learn from, right? It helps you.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah.
sure he's learned a lot from you as well. Would you say that you live a life where you've surrendered a lot to spirit, to God, to having faith, as opposed to being just purely, scientific about it all?
I've never been scientific. I've been more interested since Roger joined the group. He really knows his facts, and just when
Yeah.
he's speaking like that, it makes me again want to research it for myself. And so yeah, I'm starting to dive into actual science stuff, and it's really like smart guy because I'm like, huh?
Right, a smart guy who knows that there's a much greater reality
Oh,
beyond what we
oh
can
yeah.
see, right?
Like I'll sit there and I'll be like, all right, I want to know more science. Where do I start? And I'm like, obviously, I have to start at the elementary school level.
Isn't it awesome that Roger comes to our empath group?
Yeah.
I
It
think he's
is.
just so fabulous every time he
It
comes.
is. It's great. And it's even great that he has that balance of science and spirituality that he brings to the group.
You know, you talk about spirituality, and we've talked about religion too. Like, how would you define your spirituality or just the term spirituality in general?
I believe in God, but I also believe in gods. But I believe like God's up here, and then like there's like the God of, I don't know, the trees, and he's in charge of the trees, and then there's like the God of the ocean, and he's in charge of what happens to the ocean. But
Hmm.
all these other like little sectors all report to actual God, and he's like the one in charge of everything. The other people just make sure everything else doesn't fall apart.
So like a hierarchy of
Yeah,
beings. Yeah. Yeah.
That would
yeah.
That makes a lot of
model would
sense.
include the fairies, the elementals,
The
Oh
the
yeah.
angels.
angels.
I mean, we don't even know every single species of animal or insect that's on the planet here now.
Right. Right.
Right.
How do we
How
know
could we
what's
know the
out there when it
spirit
comes to
realms?
spirituality? Right. But
Exactly.
you don't even know. Can
Exactly.
we focus on what's here and figure
Yeah.
that out and let people just believe what they want to believe?
And keep exploring and stay open to learning, like you said earlier. Every single day, there's always something new to learn. And I love that you said that. One big takeaway for you from the empath group is that you realize there was always something new to learn. We're all a work in progress.
Right.
No one
Oh,
can sit and
100%.
say, I'm enlightened, I've reached illumination,
Right.
I'm good.
It's just like, even like, for instance, like my cameras, I have cameras outside my house. And I don't know if you saw the videos that I posted on Facebook
I
of
did.
the weird crap that's going on. You
Yeah.
did the weird crap that's at, it's so crazy. There was like this thing that was like, there's like my backyard, and it came out of the sky, and it was like a perfect circle, but it was like little dots. And then there was another one where there was like a flashing light over here in my backyard. There's nothing back there. There's
Right.
no way there was a flashing light back there. I even checked the front camera to see if there was a car going by. Even though the car does not go in the direction of where the light was, I was like, I'll just check it just in case. There was nothing out front. It was just this random flashing light in my backyard in like this wooded area.
Yeah, there's so much that we don't see that is real. Just as real is the three of us sitting here today. You know, all of us all the time. We just can't see it. Um,
It sounds like a Scooby Doo adventure. Like the light is knowing that it's on the camera and says, "Hey, Lesley, I'm here." Maybe there should be some kind of communication. Yeah,
interaction. Yeah.
interaction. Well, speaking of spirits and paranormal, you know, Sara made these spirit boards, and you received one. Can you tell us anything about
Yeah, I
the
haven't
spirit?
even
Oh my
talked to
God.
you
It
about
I
was
the
know.
spirit
so
board.
crazy. You want me to show the board? We'll show the board too.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So for the viewers or the listeners who might not know, I make orgone devices, and I started making spirit boards this summer. And Lesley bought the first one that I made. You were the first one
It's
to
so
buy
cool.
a spirit board, and here it is. I'm so glad that
Wow.
you like it.
First time I used it was crazy. Okay.
Really?
So, oh my God, it was so funny because I was reading the instructions, and it says to put your hands on the thingy. I
Planchette?
forget what it's called. Yeah. So, and to go around in the circle, right? And then see what happens, right? So I put my fingers on it, and I was thinking about going around in the circle, but the planchette was like, no, we're just going to dive right in. And it just
Nice.
started going. And I was like, is
Really?
this me? Yeah, I was like, is this me? Is this me doing this? But I was like, okay, I'm just gonna lift my hands like so light on this. It would be impossible for me to move it. But like, I'm gonna be like, I was so light on it. There's no way I was moving it, but it was just like going, right? So I wrote down my questions and all that stuff. And it kind of was like, we're gonna do a little bit of the questions, but then I'm just gonna do my thing and you're gonna
Oh,
just listen to
really?
me. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I said, who are you? And it spelled out VIKW, right? And then I said, what are you? And it said, it male kind, right? Or is it mankind? One of the two. And then under the notes, I put, it pointed at the root chakra symbol, then the heart chakra symbol 2 times after saying male kind. I asked if they were in space. They pointed to the heart chakra, then the third eye chakra. I asked if they had a message, and they said, make, believe, and love.
Make
That's
believe
powerful.
Yeah.
and love.
Make, and then, yeah, I don't think it was like make, believe, like pretend. I was like, I think it was like make, comma, believe, comma, love.
Love. Wow.
So create, believe, and love. Isn't that beautiful? What a great message.
That
I am
is.
psyched.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. I only fooled around with a spirit board once. I haven't had time to play around with them myself. I was just more interested in making them, but I want to get into it. And I'm just really, really excited that you had an experience already. And you've had
it always
others,
works for me.
So you've had other readings too with it?
Yeah, I've done, is it just 2 or 3? Yeah, it's 3. Let's see. I said, where are you from? And then 898. And then I said, who is God? And it did, which chakra is the one with this looks like the Star of David in it?
Wow.
That's the heart
Yeah,
chakra.
so that was that answer.
Oh, beautiful. God is love.
That's awesome.
It said, are we soul? I said, are we souls? And it went to positive. I said, are there other gods? It said, yes. And then I said, is the Bible real? And it went to the chakra symbol, the one with the triangle in it. Is it this? Went to
The solar plexus.
Solar plexus. Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy. I asked if I was speaking to my spirit guides. It said yes. And then another time I asked if I was speaking to like aliens, and it said yes. And then it was giving me weird coordinates that I have no idea what they are.
Oh, how cool.
That is
I'm
cool.
psyched.
Wild.
I am. That makes me want to go. I've got mine packed away. I've got to go find it.
We should take it out
and
later.
pull it out. Yeah. And play around with it. Yeah.
They work like it. Seriously, it was like pulling my hands all over the place.
Awesome.
Wow.
I'm just really, really happy to hear that. Great feedback. Thanks, Lesley.
Yeah.
I was asking what chakra I need to work on, and it kept on telling me I need to work on the root chakra,
Right.
And of course, and then everything starts popping up on my TikTok and everything about root chakras, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
You think you need to get grounded, huh, Lesley?
Yeah.
So did you have any other questions for Lesley?
No, I don't have any other questions.
I'm enjoying our conversation so much. And was there anything that you wanted to ask us, Lesley?
I do. I have the question over here. If you guys could go back to a time where you were struggling with your gifts, right? What would you tell yourself now?
That's a great question.
Probably don't be afraid.
That's a good one.
Don't be afraid, because I think my fear blocked me in some sense. So yeah, don't be afraid. It's all positive. It's all really, really good. So.
I struggle with that one too.
That's such a great question. I would try to instill in my younger self to have more awareness and more patience. Also, not to be afraid. But I don't know if my younger self would have listened is the problem.
I know my younger self wouldn't listen.
Yeah, I mean, that's hard to say. I'd like to say, yes, my younger self would have listened,
I
but I
feel
don't
like your
know.
younger self would listen.
You think
You seem
so?
like you were mature. Oh yeah, you seem like
I
you were
was
like
not
super
mature.
mature your whole life.
Yeah,
Um,
she is. I have to admit.
no, I actually was pretty immature.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm
Really?
Yeah,
surprised.
sure. I was a mischief maker, let me tell you. I loved to be a clown, and but that's a way that we all hide from our true selves too, right?
Yeah,
Is that
that's
sense
true.
of humor and joking around.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think fear in general is, it really blocks us from knowing ourselves too, and from being
Yeah.
truly authentic. And that's something that I would tell kids now if they were going through an awakening, or just struggling with whatever they're struggling with. Don't be
Oh yeah.
afraid. You're going to get through this. It's all about learning. You're going to be okay. Um,
I might tell my younger self too. Um, Stop being concerned about other people, what they're thinking, what they're doing, and spend more alone time. Spend more time getting to know yourself, and stop following the crowds, or trying to be something that you're not. And I think
oh, that is
I think
awesome
that
advice.
that would be
Yeah.
my older self to my younger self.
That's a really good one.
We have both really enjoyed
Yeah.
talking with you today, Lesley, and
Of course.
and you're someone that I'm so happy that I know. You've
Aw,
just
same.
it's true though. You've always got these great stories,
Mm.
and I'm just amazed every time you share something that you've gone through some really, really difficult things, and you have such a positive attitude, and but you're also such a warrior, and you push through. You're so freaking determined, and I just respect
Yeah.
that so much.
And I might add too.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah, and seeing again that part of your gift of manifesting in your strength, it just shows you that so many people could benefit from you and learn from you and grow from you, especially when you share your insights, uh, and your drive. And again, manifesting a home, manifesting the children to come back. These are real third dimensional constructs, and it's a lot of it is
Yeah.
your
They're
gift.
huge too.
It's your
These are not
gift.
just small things
Thank
that you're
you.
manifesting. You're
Yeah.
manifesting your life,
Yeah.
right? How you want your life to be. And it's about happiness and home and family, right? They're number one to you. So,
Right.
I
right.
could see her teaching
I was just
people.
thinking that you'd
Yeah.
make a great empath support group leader.
Mm.
And
Aw.
if you had the opportunity to do that, would you do it?
Yeah, 100%.
100%? Okay, well, I'm going to hit you up.
Yeah,
One of these days
I
coming
would love
soon,
that.
I'm going to hit you up. Now we'll talk about it. I'm not just going to throw it at you like
Yeah, of
that.
course.
But
That's what I'm used to. I get things thrown at me at work all the time.
I
Like, hey,
know
you want
you
to be a
do.
bartender today? Never
Wow.
bartended in my life, but okay, I can open a beer.
You're always game. You're
Um,
courageous, and really, truly an
Thank you.
inspiration. So
No, you guys too, though. You guys really helped me through a lot of that, a lot of understanding
mm.
why I went through what I went through. And like part of the reason why I am the way I am is because of the understanding, the knowledge that I gained from you guys.
Well, I just want to say this because I appreciate what you just said. And all we do is help to wake up what you already know. Even everything
Oh
in
yeah.
that program and those steps is stuff already innately in you, because I believe we all have past lives and we come together every time to push each other forward and to wake each other up with the thread of the knowledge that we've carried throughout lifetimes. That's what I truly
Hmm.
believe this program is.
yes, and also
Yeah.
we're just there facilitating.
Yeah.
You're the one that's
You're
doing the work.
work.
I mean, I
Yeah, but
think
you guys hand out the tools though.
Well,
Like you guys, like I had such a hard time with forgiveness. Such a hard time with forgiveness, especially for my ex.
yeah.
Everything that he put me and those kids through,
Yep.
Yeah.
it was horrible. I'm like, I'm not forgiving him. He doesn't deserve my forgiveness.
Yeah.
No way. And I mean, even now, I don't think I've forgiven him to the amount that I'm capable of at the moment. But I mean, even wanting to forgive him is a big step for me. I didn't know. Nope, don't want to. But you guys are like, not necessarily saying that I have to for him, that they have to for me.
Right. Right. We encourage just the healing that takes place when you forgive others. And
Yeah,
then there's more room for you just to experience life again and not be holding on to all of that trauma, right? That's part of like the
yeah,
healing process.
I'm
hmm
glad you shared that too, because I look even now at certain person in my own family that holds on to resentment and energy and non-forgiving. And you just see how that vibration over time can really cause your own life to be limited in certain areas, because his consciousness always goes to so far back in the past at these various infractions. But it's like, in order to move from it, we have to forgive, because it allows for the healing to take place and for us to move forward. So I'm glad you shared that. I wish more people got
yeah.
that.
I wish too.
Yeah.
All right, Lesley. Thank you so much for being our guest
No, thank you
today.
guys.
Yeah.
Well, you're welcome. The feeling is mutual, right?
Really.
Gratitude for each other, and I look forward to seeing you at our empath group. And I'm really excited that we're able to share your story with our listeners,
Of course.
and I'm sure that there'll be a lot to take away from it
Yeah.
too.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Lesley.
thank you guys for having me.
We'll
Bye,
see you
guys.
Good
soon.
to see you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.